Hey guys, this new countdown is a little different than I usually do, kind of. It's only going to be, it's not even actually a countdown, because there's only 4 in it. But today I'm going to discuss, in the order of my opinion, the least to most bratty kid in the Willy Wonka / Charlie and the Chocolate Factory franchise. Yes, I said 4, even though there was 5 golden ticket holders. Charlie, I'm sorry guys, it's not counting in this list, because he was a saint, right? And obviously he was the winner. So I'm only talking about the 4 who gets escorted out of the lab. Or not the lab, the factory. I will make a mistake sometimes, and this is just my opinion, guys. We all have opinions, and I'm not always, no one is 100% accurate, so, but just from, and the thing is, though, I've also researched some of the books on the wikis as well. So this is going to count from the books to some of the musical to the 2 film adaptations that were in 1971 and 2005 respectively. So, anyway, let's get on to number 4.
Are you at getting terribly fat? What do you think will come?
Number 4 on this list is Augustus Gloop. Now, the reason for this is that he really wasn't given enough time and presence to see his personality grow. And yes, he was gluttonous, greedy when it comes to food, but he really only seemed greedy when it came to food. In nothing else. He never bossed his mother around. He never showed any ill temper, except for maybe that one. There's a certain part in the 2005 remake where he may have been a bit mean to Charlie by trying to take his food. I think that's what it was. I forget, I was reading that on a wiki. Anyway, that is always kind of an ill resource. But, and you're probably wondering, out of all the other ones, why Augustus? I mean, there's probably 1 or 2 that could have been placed above him, but in my opinion, I said, not given enough time to develop, no real disrespect towards Wonka or his mother. It was just that he was a bit greedy and gluttonous. Now, there's not much more I can say about Augustus for that reason that I explained before, but there is one little thing that I actually found kind of funny, and I'll just bring this up in this video, and you might see a visual here if YouTube allows me. In the original one, in the 1971, adaptation, he wasn't given many lines, so definitely there he never showed any personality. The only thing we knew is he was hungry, pretty much. In the 2005 remake, however, Augustus gets a little more screen time in the interview. And he keeps going on and on about everything that the golden ticket did not taste like. But thank God they limited that to sweet bar attributes, or dessert attributes. Because he was didn't taste like chocolate, or caramel, or hot walnut, or, yeah, I know, I'm mocking his accent, like he's German. He went in everything, sprinkles. Literally, I swear that if they didn't limit it to just candy dessert-related foods or toppings, I would have fallen asleep. But, the saying is, short and sweet. I mean, maybe he definitely should have had more screen time in the 1971 version than just be hungry. And maybe one other thing. I couldn't make it out what he was saying. But the long interview, it just showed him talking and showing him chewing the bar. That is the only thing I really didn't care for, but that's not a character flaw. That isn't like a bad bratty thing. That's something I could poke fun of. I had to poke fun of that. I mean, when I was watching, I was watching some of the stuff for this video, I literally, I'm thinking, wait, you're not done yet? He paused for less than a second and went on, with another ingredient and another, wasn't this. Finally, when he stopped, I'm like, ah! I mean, I know I talk a lot, but there's a difference between, well, you know what I mean, dragging it on. Okay, it did, if I was in that interview, what I would have said is that I took a bite, and it didn't taste like any of things that I'm used to tasting in a bar or in a dessert. That would have been it. But then I found it wasn't ticket. That would have been a simple cut way to say, okay, it wasn't something that I should be eating. So, but no, he went on, wasn't this, but he went for at least 7 items. And in a slow-paced manner, too. Like, with his German accent, he needs to take his time saying it. I'm not making fun of people, purposely making fun of people with German. But they had to get the character to say it slower, and that was their point. So they went on about that, everything that it wasn't, when they could have cut right to the chase. But anyway, that doesn't really count as a character flaw, in my opinion, in that way. So, Augustus Gloop. But before I go to the outro, just to point out, no, I would never want him running the chocolate factory because of his gluttonous ways. There wouldn't be any ingredients left. But out of personality, he is still the most likable next to Charlie. So Augustus Gloop is number 4 on this list. Now on to number 3.
What are you at? Getting terribly fat. What do you think will come?
Number 3 on this list is Violet Beauregard. Now you're thinking, you mean the one that turned into a giant blueberry? Yes, I mean the one that turned into a giant blueberry. Now, I was going to say, now, each version of it has her turning into a blueberry. But in the 2005 adaptation, she was shown as being more competitive. So yes, her personality is a little bit different. And she's a little more boastful. But even with all that, even with the combinations of the 3, with the book, this and that, and the book and the 2 adaptations, she really isn't as bad as the last 2 in this list. You know what, to be fair, I, for a while, was thinking of choosing her to be above Augustus Gloop. Just because her flaws seemed a little less. But I really think back on what I researched, that is not the case. She was shown to be a little more rude than Augustus. She was friendly in some of the adaptations for the most part. But she still had this boastful way about herself. I mean, in the 2005 adaptations, which her being played by Anna Sophia Robb, obviously a lot of people, you know her, who she is by now, she was shown to kick a couple of her karate instructors or opponents, whoever it was, while chewing a piece of gum. She didn't seem to relent any either. And there was other times where she showed a little bit of nastiness towards her, like when Farouk were saying, let's be friends, and she's like, best friends. She just gives a sickening look. Like, no, like, I don't like you at all, like, type of look. So you could tell by the mannerisms on her face. And the biggest thing was, like, when the end of her came. And no, she didn't die. We all know she didn't die. When they went into the inventing room, and she, no matter what Wonka said, refused to listen and put the experimental gum in her mouth. Even with the warning of both versions of Wonka, which is Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp respectively. You know what? I was thinking someday I'll do a list, or not a list, but a video on what I think about who's like the worst or whatever. But anyway, back to this point. She was told, like, in the both versions, and I think the book version too. I never read the full book. I know. I was good. And all 3 versions, Wonka gave her several warnings to whether not to eat it or to spit it out before it got to the dessert. And all of it, she didn't listen. And in the 2005 version, she says, I'm the chewing gum world record champion. I'm not afraid of anything. So she was boastful in that too. And even when she was turning into that blueberry, she still had that gum in her mouth. Like, come on. I mean, yes, she probably still would have had some damage to her, but she did not, and maybe she still would have had that full transformation. But she didn't spit it out of fear or anything. She was like chewing as she was turning blue and turning into a blueberry. Kind of a blueberry in a way, but the point is, even when she was in immediate danger, Like, yes, I know this all sounds bad, and why isn't she lower on this list? Well, the last two people obviously have a few more problems that I've noticed over her. Yeah, she was the second to be, okay, cut off is the wrong word, but yeah, cut off. And the, like in the 1971 version, she may have been a little more full of herself in some ways too. Like, they both were boastful, like, but it was shown, and they were just shown at later times of the movie. Where in the first version, the 1971, she was talking to her friend saying, la la la, I beat your record. But she was really only competitive and like chewing gum like that. Or, not sport-wise competitive, where in the 2005 version, she was competitive in all areas. She did karate, she wanted to win that golden ticket to win the best prize, like just to prove to be the best. And I just didn't really care for her now. I was also considering switching her either to number 1 or to number 2, not number 1, to number 4 or number 2 for different reasons. But I decided her as number 3, just the mid-ground. She's not as polite as Augustus was, or like she was more developed and defined. But honestly, I think her boastfulness would have really ruined the factory, and the thing is well, actually, it's funny though. Well, this put a difference I know here. In each version, different parents escort her. Try to think. Like, in the 1971 version, her father is the one who escorts her in the lab. Now, her father is not as full of himself. Where in the 2005 version, her mother, who's just as competitive as she is, and is almost a match to her, escorts her. So, parents are different, right? In a way, like personalities. I know it's weird for me to add this on something about Violet Beauregard, but I thought I'd bring that up as a topic. Her mother kind of boosted her cleverfulness, or her boastfulness, and her father was kind of a mix. He didn't disregard it, but he didn't encourage it either. So, who is the worst of the two adaptations? I don't know. But I would probably say, if anything, maybe the 2005 version. She's the worst behaved of the two versions, but altogether that makes her number 3 on this list. Now on to number 2.
What are you at, getting terribly fat? What do you think will come?
Number 2 on this list is Mike TV. Now, obviously you'll know what number 1 is now, because I gave away number 2, but anyway, let's get on to Mike TV. Now you're thinking, Jazz, in the 1971 version, he did not seem all that bad, which is sort of true, in a way, but I also looked at it by how the book and the 2005 version. But I am going to add some traits of the 1971 version in it. In the book, it really did say how he got the golden ticket, but he was addicted to TV. He ate everything in the living room or where the TV was. In the 1971 version, he was again just as addicted to TV to the point that he didn't even care he was being interviewed. He just told him, like, to be quiet, let me watch my show. So then we don't know how he got the golden ticket either. Where in the 2005 version, we find out that he seems to be really good at mathematics in a way, and is very literate, like he's smart, intelligent, and he just did this mathematical formula and stuff to figure out, like, most likely which bar had the golden ticket, and all he had to do was buy one. So, it is eventually found out how he did, like, in that version anyway. Now, there's several reasons why he is number 2 on this list. Mainly because of the 2005 version. I have to be honest. In the 2005 version, at the end of his interview, which, yes, he actually did more of an interview in this version rather than the other two, he says what he did, and they asked him, how's the chocolate? He says, I don't even like chocolate. So he just did this a test to see if he could get it. Test his intelligence. And didn't even care about what was going towards it. So he was being very boastful. Just like Violet in that regard. Also, the 2005 version, when Wonka told them to go and enjoy themselves, we see Mike kicking open. I don't know whether it was a cherry or what. It was an item made out, of candy, and breaking it apart, or pumpkin, I don't know what it was. And the father said, Mike, he said, what? They told me to enjoy myself. He didn't go and eat. He destroyed things. He was, vandalizing something. Now, why, you say, Jack, why are you judging it all in the 2005, Mike? That's the biggest evidence, and that is still pretty bad compared to the other prior two. He was doing things way before his room, where he went. So it showed he had more of a disregard for rules or disregard on how to be respectful. Now, in the 1971 version, he was a bit more respectful. I will give them that, and the character. But in the book version, he was kind of respectful for most of the point, but he does not learn his lesson in the end. When he leaves, he's 10 foot tall. They had to stretch him up in a gum or taffy stretcher, and he's 10 feet tall, which his parents say he won't be able to go to school or to socialize in general. Because he's kind of a freak now. And he says, oh, good, I still can watch TV. Did you hear that? Oh, I don't know. Wait, yeah, I think he heard that Oompa Loompa song. Or the moral song, or whatever they call it. Yet he still is, I can go watch TV. But thank God his father learned something at least. Saying, no, I'll throw the TV right out the window. This is your fault for that behavior. Someone learned something. So I'm basing it more on the book and the 2005 version. The mid version, he did not listen to Wonka when he told him not to go to that TV or go to touch anything. He did. That was his weakness, though. So I can't really fault the 1971 version very much, but based on how disrespectful he was and know-it-all he was being, right? Like him and Willy often combat it in the 2005 version between imagination and logic. He was just this logical, straight thinker in a way. Honestly, that's why I think Mike is number 2. He not only disrespected Willy throughout the tour, without being actually apprehended for it, but he disrespected him in the end when he did get apprehended. When he went and he touched the buttons and went into the TV. This time, literally, into the TV. So we obviously know who number 1 is, then let's get on to her.
What are you at, getting terribly fat? What do you think will come?
Number 1 on this list is Veruca Damn Salt. Oh my god. I was somewhat respectful with the other 3. I'm going hard on this girl. In all 3 versions, she was one of the most disrespectful little B-I***CH I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'm basing it more on the 2 film adaptations, mainly. But I will say she was the absolute worst in this 1971 adaptation. She kept hollering at her father when he didn't get what she wanted on the first day, when she asked him for the golden ticket, and her father was begging, saying he put all his workers to work in 5 whole days, till dawn or whatever, dusk till dawn. And she said, well, make them work nights. And even then, she said, they're jealous of me. I hate you, Daddy. You never give me anything I want. When in reality, he gave her the sun and moon. Okay, no, he didn't literally give her that, but he gave her everything she asked for prior to that. And said she wasn't going to school till she got it, which thank God, a few minutes later, she got it. Doesn't matter what else she would have went on for. And I'll give it, in the 2005 version, okay, she isn't really any better in a way. I mean, she's less hollery, but she's more cold and calculated and pretending like to be sweet. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you a good example. Unlike that other scenario I said about her hollering and freaking out, in this version, when Mr. Salt was talking about how they got the golden ticket, she would say, she would ask about it. 3 days later, she would be hollering like the other one was, and she'd be like, Daddy, where's my golden ticket? I want my golden ticket. She was kind of cold, but kind of freaking out, but she was not, like, screaming and saying, I hate you, or anything. And then, finally, when they got it for her, she just looked at him, sort of smiled, and then was like, Daddy, I want another pony. Where's the thank you, Daddy?
I want another pony.
Like, and that's just at the beginning of them. And I already hate this brat. There is another thing I'm going to bring up in a few minutes, which is, I'll admit, kind of funny, but I still hate her, so it's not that funny. She, throughout the tour, I'm shocked wasn't kicked out before Augustus. But she managed to be able to get through some of them. There was actually a deleted scene in, I think, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is 2005, that she wanted Oompa Loompa when she saw one, which was deleted, thank God. She probably would have been kicked out the first time, if not. Which I would have hallelujah. Trust me, you know, what am I saying? I probably would have preferred having that scene in the film just to get rid of her a little bit faster. Then they go through everything, you know, Augustus is gone, and then they're at the Violet Beauregard scene, which is that little scene I said I'm sticking away. I might show you. When Mrs. Beauregard asked how Violet's going to compete now, Veronica just looks at her and said, you could always enter her in the county fair. Which, okay, if it wasn't the fact I hated this little brat so much, that would have been really funny. It is a clever line. I'll give her that. That is one little thing I'll give her. But after that, okay, like, she pretended to want to be friends with Violet, just to have the same reaction Violet did, or worse, they both were like, huh. And she was just, like, disrespectful through so many people throughout, like, I feel. And then when they finally get to her endgame, finally, each version is different. In the book and in the 2005 version, she's attacked and dragged down by squirrels, which, hey! In the 1971 version, she goes through this nice, not nice, this musical number, where she says everything she wants. And she goes on to the thing where it sorts the eggs between good and bad eggs, and like, I want it now! She's literally dumped down to the garbage chutes. Which, you're probably wondering, which version, like, which way of her punishment did I like better? Put it one way. The squirrel version of it is terrifying. Terrifying. The other one is more comical. So I would say I actually like them both equally, but for different reasons. The squirrel version, I think she had it coming. Also the fact that each version included a possible incineration. And guys, you guys are gonna be mouth dropped when I say this, because that is so gruesome. So badly, even if it was for a short period of time, I wanted that little brat to burn. But no. The only time that it may have kind of, like, clued in to being burned was in a theater adaptation, which it is presumed they burned to their death. God, why didn't I not use this version? Because literally, when she walks out of the factory in the 2005 version, she does not learn her lesson. She's like, Daddy, I want a flying glass elevator. But thank God her father learned his lesson. he was like, the only thing you're getting is a bath. And then when she starts to scream out saying, I want it, he just gives her a stern look. And hallelujah, at least someone is learning. Where she went through the most horrifying thing of her whole entire life, and she goes right back to her old ways. You'd think that would at least teach her to be a little more respectful, or a little less demanding. Because she literally was grabbed by squirrels. She scratched the floor trying to escape them. And yes, I always joke that the squirrel scene would be a really good horror movie with horror music on it. That would scare me from squirrels for my whole entire life, but man, did she deserve it. It was funny at the same time as horrifying. I said, with the other version, when she fell down the garbage chute, she really did that herself. She saw that coming. Like, she really did ask for that. Because she literally was like, going around like she owned the place. So obviously for all those reasons, the fact that she's probably the one that learned her lesson the least, then she is the worst contestant in the Wonka factory. Maybe her drive might do something, but that she is not respectful at all. As I said, there were moments where I really wanted her to burn. Literally, in that incinerator. But she never made it that far. And guys, I am sorry to you, that sounds gruesome. But it's the truth. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Ask if you want another video based on the Wonka theory, who I think is the cruelest, for example. So guys, I will see you guys in the next clip.